Manga-Waido.
My name is Mika. I'm about to get married soon. Despite appearances, I have had a tumultuous life. I lost my father to illness when I was very young, and even my mother who raised me single-handedly died of exhaustion. I was still in elementary school at the time, and I was in such despair that I couldn't even cry at the funeral.
What will she do now?
Oh no, we can't take her. We have kids. We can't afford to take care of another child.
Well, she'll probably end up in an institution.
But her grandfather, Kenjiro-san, won't let on about that, will he?
I don't know. Apparently he's about to get divorced, so he might not be able to afford to.
What? Really?
Mika, long time no see. I'm Kenjiro, your grandfather.
Mika, you're beautiful like your mother. I'm your grandma, Mika. Grandpa? Grandma?
Mika, from today, you're coming to our house.
Yes, you can count on us.
We're family.
Also, if there's anything else your mom left for you, please give it all to your grandma. I don't know.
You don't?
Well, we'll see. My grandparents were not warm people, and even as a young girl I could feel the sting of their words, but I have nowhere else to turn. I was taken in by my grandparents and transferred to a new elementary school. At my new school, I found it difficult to make friends, which made me feel even more alone. It was just around the time that my grandparents gradually became to reveal their true nature.
The proportions are small again.
Oh, your stomach is growling? You want seconds? You're such a stubborn child.
Be grateful that you're being fed.
And don't underestimate the cost of food.
I'm sorry.
I gradually became to dislike returning home. I felt like I could only be free while in school, so I tried to come home as late as possible. One time, I didn't come home even in the evening and returned home after it got dark. Instead of being worried, my grandparents yelled at me saying, "People are going to think we're doing something wrong." The day after,
I don't want to go home anymore.
I slipped into the playground, equipped it at a nearby park, and cowered on my knees. And just like that, I dozed off.
It's already dark. But I don't want to go home. They're going to be really angry. Wait, isn't that Mika?
I looked and saw my mother's sister, Manami-san, who was my aunt, standing there. I've met her several times at family gatherings, but she always smelled of perfume and had a flirtatious look about her. And to be honest, I was kind of intimidated by her.
What's the matter? It's late. You have to go home. I don't want to. I see. Mika, how are you getting along with your grandparents? What? Why?
Because I didn't get along with them.
Really?
Yeah, that's why I distanced myself so early.
I see. Mom said the same thing too. That's why she wouldn't let you see your grandparents.
Yeah, I know. But after what happened to my sister, they're the right people. Well, if you don't want to go home, I'll go home with you. It's called Shall We Go?
Okay.
She took my hand and walked me home at a slow speed. I felt heavy, but the warmth of her hand gave me courage. When I returned home...
Oh, Mika, you weren't home?
My grandparents welcomed us as if nothing had happened without any sign of worry. They always change attitudes based on their own feelings, so they are unconcerned when they say the exact opposite of what they did yesterday. Wait, you didn't even notice she wasn't here? She didn't come home until this late and you didn't even worry?
Why should I worry? It's a kid with no insurance coverage. What good is it going to do?
I thought that's what this was about. I'll take Mika in.
What? What are you talking about, barging in here for the first time in a while? Raising a child is not that simple, you know.
You don't even know what love is, so if you can do it, so can I.
What did you say? I don't care if you come crying to me later.
Who's counting on you, you idiot? Mika, let's go. Saying that, my aunt took my hand and ran out of the house. I followed her with only my school bag on my back. I was so nervous.
You get nervous too?
Of course. Oh man, it's time for me to go to work.
Work?
Yeah, it's called a night job. Oh, feel free to use my room.
Okay.
She left me and went to work. My aunt's room was so cluttered and stuffed that there was no place to step.
Or...
I started cleaning. Then, after cleaning up the 8-mat living room, I ran out of energy and fell asleep. At dawn, I felt warm and woke up to find my aunt sleeping beside me. She covered me with her food and slept with only a towel, and she smelled of perfume and alcohol. I was intimidated by her after all. She was always using dirty language. She was far from having femininity. But she helped me. And so the strange cohabitation between me and my aunt began.
Auntie, how have you been living until now?
Huh? What do you mean?
You can't cook or clean. I mean, you can't do anything.
Even if your room is messy, it's not like I'm going to die.
I'll make sure I don't become like you, Auntie.
Don't say things like that.
Don't get so close, it's hot.
By the way, since my aunt's house and my grandparents' house were within walking distance, I didn't have to transfer elementary schools. When I came home from school, I cleaned the room. My aunt did her makeup for the carpenter job. Even with this kind of lifestyle, it was 100 times better than living at my grandparents' house. Eventually, Auntie started making an effort to cook for me, and she even started helping me with sewing for school.
Thanks, Auntie.
One day, after about a month of living like that, my aunt told me she has someone she wanted to introduce me to. This guy is Satoshi.
Nice to meet you. I'm Satoshi.
Huh?
My apprentice.
Apprentice?
Yeah, like a slave. Someone who listens to everything you say.
What is that?
Don't worry about it, Mika. If there's anything you need, just tell me.
Satoshi-san was 20 years old and a college student. Just like my aunt, he grew up in a single-fathered household and owes a debt of gratitude to my aunt, which is why he's her apprentice.
Seriously, you don't have to hold back at all.
Mika, you're like my own child.
That's not how it works.
I still remember that moment vividly. I felt a mix of embarrassment, happiness, and almost wanted to cry.
Auntie's child.
It was the moment when I gained another mother. Satoshi-san would come to take care of me on days when my aunt wasn't around. I loved Satoshi-san, who could do household chores, was kind, and would also scold me when necessary. But Satoshi-san had one flaw. He was indecisive.
Why don't you ask her out already, Satoshi-san?
Huh? What do you mean?
You like my aunt, don't you?
Mika, you can tell too?
It's obvious.
But you know what? It's kind of presumptuous of me to be her boyfriend.
You're the only one who could tolerate her.
I don't know.
It's true. Then we could be real family.
A real family.
Oh, but just going out with her isn't going to be enough.
I'm on board with that idea.
A week later, Satoshi-san proposed to my aunt. I don't mind.
Really? Yes!
Congratulations, Satoshi-san!
This is how Auntie and Satoshi-san got engaged. The next day, the three of us went to greet Roshi-san's father. I was happy that they allowed me to be present at something important like this, but...
No!
Satoshi-san's father said sternly.
Why not? You're still young. It's too early for marriage, and having a child who isn't even related to you on top of that isn't something I can overlook. What's wrong with that? You're not blood related. What if you two have a child together? Can you give them the same love and care? What about all the adults around me? They loved me. It doesn't matter if you're related by blood. I love Manami and Mika.
After an hour of back and forth, the stubborn father finally...
I understand. Your determination is not half-hearted. Yes! But promise me one thing. Make sure to graduate from university and get a good job. I will support you. Yes! Also, rely on those around you properly. And come visit us once in a while. Thank you, Father.
And so, our life as a family of three began. The two of us just registered our marriage. We didn't have any wedding ceremony. After that, my mother quit her job at the Carbonet Club and started working full-time at a supermarket. After graduation from college, my father also found a job at a general company. Furthermore, a turning point came when I was in the first grade of junior high school. Listen and be amazed. I'm having a baby.
What? Really?
I wouldn't lie to you.
Yay! Congratulations, Mika!
Yeah, I'm so happy. Mika, do you want to feel my belly? It's not that big yet, but...
Yeah.
I think you'll be a good big sister, Mika.
I'll do my best.
But actually, I wasn't just filled with joy. I feared becoming an unwanted child. In the midst of all this, the 3rd anniversary of my real mother's death was celebrated.
Manami is pregnant.
Really? What's going to happen to Mika then?
Well, you can't beat a biological child. I guess she'll be sent away to an institution. I'm afraid she'll do something mean.
I couldn't stand it anymore, so I ran away from the scene in my disheveled state. I ran to the park where I used to spend time killing time. And just like in the past, I slipped into the playground equipment.
If only I could go to my real parents now, without being seen as nauseous.
Several hours later.
Mika! Mika! What?
After crying for a while, I got tired and fell asleep. When I woke up to being shaken, my mother with a red face was looking at me.
What are you doing here, stupid?
She grabbed my hand and headed silently towards my grandparents' house, which was terrifying. It was so awkward that a few minutes' walk felt like tens of minutes. When we got to my grandparents' house, my father flew in with a pale face and hugged me.
Thank God! Are you okay?
Yeah, I'm fine.
I'm going to tell everyone they found her.
Did you apologize to your mother?
Why?
Because you worried her.
She worried about me?
Don't test her. Your mother and I were really worried about you.
I'm sorry.
Let's apologize to your mother. She was looking for you with a pale face.
Okay.
At which point, the relative scream echoed from the back room. I rushed to the back room with my father, and my mother was pouring beer on my relative's head. I gave her a lesson. You should be thanking me.
What do you think you're doing?
What does it matter if we're not blood related? I love Mika.
What does that have to do with this?
I don't need you outsiders to tell me what to do. Nitpicking everything.
Nitpicking?
Manami, what's wrong?
These guys said Mika ran away because she was an idiot who couldn't even thank them for raising her. I got so frustrated.
Don't cry, Mom. I'm sorry for worrying you.
Mika. We hugged each other and sobbed like little kids. At this moment, I think we became a real family. Then the months passed. I had become a college student. One day, when I took my boyfriend, Yu Gold out to visit my house.
So, how did you meet Mika? Yes, we were classmates in high school. I see, classmates, huh? Yes, when I first entered the school, there was a heartless rumor that spread about Mika, and I couldn't stand it. A heartless rumor? That Mika's parents are not blood related. I shouted, "That's none of your business." Huh. I was raised by a single father. I knew a lot of adults who looked out for me, so I couldn't just sit back and...
It's true what they say about daughters becoming similar to their fathers.
What? Well, you're the mother.
What? Why?
Remember in high school when I was being harassed by a young teacher? Remember how you helped me out?
Did that ever happen?
Yeah, it did. They made fun of the fact that I came from a single father. And then one day, to the teacher, you poured a sports drink on him and got mad saying you're disrespecting the people who love him.
Nah, I remember.
And I thought, I'm sure I'm going to be with this person in the future.
Me too. That's what I thought when you helped me.
So, we're alike. Nice to meet you. And nice to meet you too.
And now, after graduating from university, I got a job at a major company and got married to you. I didn't plan to have a ceremony, but my mother wanted to see me as a bride. So we decided to have a small ceremony. My father cried as soon as it began. My mother had a big smile on her face the whole time and I was happy. But even though the ceremony was over, our mission was not. What? Why? Whatever, just try it on. I'm sure it's the right size. I wanted to give my mother, who gave up her wedding for me, a ceremony with just the family. I took my mother, who had a strange look on her face, to the chapel, where she saw my father in a tuxedo. My cheeky-looking younger brother was sitting in the attendance section.
You look good, Mom.
I pulled my mother's hand and led her to my father. Mom, I'm going to be happy, so you be happy too. Thanks, Mika. I'm just happy enough already. My mother smiled at me as she says this, trying not to break down in tears. This is how our family took a new step forward.